Alright guys, welcome to Real Anime Training. Today we're going to cover Goku's Gravity Room workout. Now what that workout is it's rounds, it's 10 rounds of 4 exercises. The first exercise is a push-up, the second exercise is a sit-up, the third exercise is punching with weights, and the last exercise is shadow boxing. Now the first round, the first level rather, would be 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups, 10 punches with the 2-pound weights, and then 1 minute of shadow boxing. For every round after that, you would add 10 reps to the top 3 workouts and 15 seconds to the shadow boxing. And that, once again, that is 10 rounds total. So first round you end up doing 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 punches with 2-pound weights, and 10 minutes of shadow boxing total. So that's pretty much the workout. Now on to the demonstration. For the push-up, you can kind of follow the same rules that we talked about during the Real Anime Training warm-up. When you go down, you can have a little closer if you want to, or a little wider. It's completely up to you. I tend to be just a little outside shoulder. You're going to come down and push up. Now, for the proper execution to get to the next level of the workout, we're going to do what we call an honest push-up. And what an honest push-up is it's a 2 count down and a 2 count up. So what you're going to do is you're right here, you're at the top, you're going to go 1, 2, 1, 1. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 3. And to go to the next level, every push-up that you do for whatever level you're on has to be an honest push-up. If you can't do honest push-ups the whole way through, you can certainly crank out the faster ones. But essentially, this is just kind of like trying to mimic the gravity aspect of it. So I mean, you're having to stay in the position just a little bit longer than if you're cranking out the push-ups at max speed. So you'll do 10 of those. Real quick, I just want to cover a couple variations of the push-up exercise that if you cannot do a normal push-up or an honest push-up, what you can do to kind of mimic the movement. You know, if you're out of shape or you're overweight and you can't handle the exercise, you can certainly do push-ups from your knees. You know, and that's a little bit of I guess an easier version of doing it on your knees because the body's straight. But if you need a little bit easier version than that, you can kind of have this support here from your lower half. And just try to do as many as you can if you are out of shape. Now, if you have to, you can certainly, if you're really, really out of shape, you can certainly do push-ups on the wall. And so what you do is you just place your feet slightly away from the wall and push up off the wall. For the wall push-up, the closer your feet are, the easier it's going to be. You know, this is pretty simple. As you get a little further away, lower your hands a little bit, just to keep that same angle. And it will be a little harder at that point, just because you're using more of your body weight. But if you can't do a normal push-up, that is certainly an option for you. Okay, now the second part of the exercise is a sit-up. Now, there's nothing real special about that. There's not an honest sit-up kind of thing. There's not a count on it. But I mean, you don't want to crack through them like you're, sprinting through it. So, like before, I put my feet under a weight. You can put your feet under, a couch, or you can use a sit-up bench if you want to. But essentially, like I said before, curl up into it and then curl back down. And that's 10 reps. If you can't do a whole sit-up, try to go as far as you can and do as many as you can, up to 10, and then you can complete, more on the next round. But if you can't do a sit-up at all, I would say do 2 crunches for every sit-up that you can't do. The first round has 10 sit-ups that you need to do. So instead of doing 10 sit-ups, you'll do 20 crunches. So you'll just, and for a crunch, same principle applies. Hands lightly touching the ears, lifting the shoulders directly off the mat. And it's just that first part of the sit-up itself. If if you're in like level 3 or level 4 of this exercise, of this workout, which if you can get that far, I really commend you, because that's like 300 and 400 push-ups and sit-ups and punches and a whole lot of shadow boxing. And you feel like, man, I just don't want to do any more sit-ups, laying on the ground. Then by all means, if you have a sit-up bench that is a decline bench, do your sit-ups there. And if you find after a while, heck, this is really easy, I think I want to go up, you can certainly use the little, I guess I call them anti-gravity boots, where you hang upside down to do hanging sit-ups. I really don't recommend tying your feet to anything. And if you do hanging sit-ups, please have a spotter, just so you don't get stuck in that position and end up dying, because that would suck. Okay, the third exercise is punching with weights. Now on the blog I say punching from a horse stance, but you don't necessarily have to punch from a horse stance. You can punch from a boxing stance, you can punch from a forward stance, it doesn't really matter. But in general, it's 10 punches on total. That doesn't mean 10 punches each side, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's not 1, 1, 2, 2. Yeah, otherwise that would could get onwards and upwards into insanity in the later levels. But you're going to need 2-pound weights. Little simple things here. I tried not to increase the weight too much when we're going up in the levels, so we just try to keep the 2 pounds. 1 for joint safety, and 2 just because 2-pound weights are just easy to come by. So for the first part, like I said, horse stance. If you wanted to do that, you can use like what I've heard referred to as a square horse, which the toes are pointed forward, and you have this line right here with your foot, and you just bend your knees slightly, and then you can punch from the square horse. Or you can kind of use like a deep horse stance, where you would bring the legs in and then squat a little lower and then punch from there. But honestly, that just feels really uncomfortable with the punching to me. You can also do it from a forward stance, or from a boxer stance. Hopefully you've watched Dragon Ball, otherwise you wouldn't be looking for a workout like this. If you remember when Goku is doing the gravity room workout, when he's punching, he's actually not punching from the hip, he's punching from up here. And he's kind of in a forward stance when he's doing it. It's kind of like it's not a real deep forward stance, but he is kind of in a forward stance, and he's just punching out. And so, he's not really pulling back on his punches. You can pretty much do it however you want to. If you want to pull it back on every punch, you certainly can. If you want to leave it out there and then pull it back, you can certainly do that as well. If you're really not used to punching, if you're out of shape, maybe leave the weights out of it at first, just to get used to throwing the punches. So instead of focusing on, well, this is what the workout says I should do, I really want to do what the workout says I should do, maybe you should really just do what your body says that you're able to do. Don't do something that you're going to hurt yourself doing just to match what the blog says. The last part of the workout is shadow boxing, or as my cameraman has reminded me, shadow kickboxing, because you're not just boxing. Now you can certainly adapt this to whatever style of martial arts that you practice. There's a whole bunch, so I'm not just going to start naming them, because if you practice a style of martial arts, you probably know what that is already. So, just take whatever techniques that you want to throw in there and throw them in there. And then I'll just give you an example of the kind of shadowboxing that I do. So in general, you only have a minute. So I mean, you should probably try to push yourself as hard as you can during that minute. So when, as soon as you're going to do push-ups, sit-ups, punching with the weights, as soon as that's done, you're right into the shadowboxing. So it's just, you're boom, 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 and then you jump up. Something like that. Okay, well that's pretty much how I would do shadowboxing. If you don't have a style of martial arts that you practice, I would encourage you to go out and find a gym, find a martial arts school, or even just some buddies that might happen to know some things here and there that you can train with. But if you don't have access to any of those, God forbid, if you don't have any friends, you can certainly just kind of make it up as you go along. So, I mean, you can act like, just kind of put yourself in the moment. You're fighting an invisible opponent. You're out to save the world. You're protecting somebody. It's just, look, there's my arch nemesis. He throws a punch. You dodge the punch. And then you counter. Boom. You throw it straight, if you know how to throw it straight. If not, just swing your arm, make sure that you keep, don't try to do too much, just so you end up hurting yourself, because, if you're just like going wildly, I'm sure that you might end up punching yourself in the face or something, because I actually have done that. I have punched myself in the face before, and that is not fun. So just be careful if you are making it up as you go along. Now, the last thing I want to say before we go is that, just to remind you that it is 10 rounds total. If you can't complete the whole 10 rounds, that's fine. Just do as much as you can. Always, in real anime training, the concept is to get better over time. You don't have to get better right now. So, I mean, if you can only do 5 push-ups a round, and you can only do 5 rounds, whatever. I mean, seriously, go at your own pace, and you will get stronger eventually. So, I mean, remember that fitness is not something that is gained overnight. It is something that is acquired with hard work over a long period of time. So, I hope you guys have fun with this. I know I have a lot of fun with this workout. It's probably one of my favorites, just because it's so fast-paced. And also, you kind of get the whole, hey, I'm doing Goku's gravity room workout thing in your head. And as an anime fan, that is kind of rewarding. So until next time, I do hope you guys enjoyed this, and good luck, train hard, and I'll see you around.